BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
First at 11, with another murder recorded in the Golden Gates area, pushing the killings to 5 since Saturday, the Prime Minister and Minister of National Security decrying the killings, but pointing out that systemic challenges, such as those related to bail, play a role. And the caregiver at the center of a controversial matter involving an elderly woman, her power of attorney, and what her family alleges is fraud, taken in for questioning by police today. Also, more testimony from the courts in the alleged rape case against Member of Parliament Kurt Cornish, with closing arguments set for this week. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Royston Jones, and this is the Bahamas Tonight at 11. Thank you so much for tuning in. Another family mourning the death of their loved one tonight. An intense investigation is underway into another homicide here in the capital. Police confirming that sometime after 5 o'clock this afternoon, 2 men were involved in an altercation at a residence on Muttonfish Drive. That's off Malcolm Road. When officers got there, they met a man with lacerations to his neck, and inside the home found another man lifeless in the living room. Officer in charge of the East Street South Police Station, Superintendent James Evans, has more on the initial investigation.
Based on information gathered here at the scene, we do know that 2 males, they are related. Information is thus far is that both males were involved in the altercation, which turned physical. A cutlass was introduced. One of the males was chopped about the body. And as a result, a fight ensued. Physical, one of the males, he was found lifeless on the inside of the.
Meanwhile, yesterday's triple shooting incident in Fox Hill is still being investigated, the matter even getting the attention of the Prime Minister. And as we hear in this report from Corvell Pyfram, Prime Minister Davis is restating the need for a reset in the way young people think and react.
Prime Minister Davis is renewing the call for an all-hands-on-deck approach to dealing with crime. Calling yesterday's fatal triple shooting in the Fox Hill community worrisome, Mr. Davis says it's time to find more effective ways of reaching the nation's youth. But he acknowledges that the retaliatory nature of these killings make them difficult.
And whenever it's retaliatory, it's very challenging to prevent. Saturation patrol is out there. A number of these areas and persons are being disrupted, but yet still they find a way to exact what they want to. And it's very troubling, and the time has come for us to find ways and means of resetting the minds of our young people.
The intended target of yesterday's shooting, a man who's on bail and being electronically monitored. Police Commissioner Clayton Fernanda has expressed concern about the large number of young men on bail awaiting trial for serious offenses like murder. The Prime Minister is sharing those concerns and says while steps are being taken to remedy this problem, there will be no quick fix.
These trials are taking more than 2 and 3 months. So if you have 170 trials, that's outstanding. What does that mean? How many months? That's almost 10 years to clean it up. So we are looking at initiatives to try to respond to the fact that trials are not happening quick enough and the courts are overwhelmed.
As it relates to speeding up the trial process, the Prime Minister points to more judges being added to the bench and the necessity for jury trials being removed as significant progress, though lots more work still needs to be done.
So we've done some things to try to rein in the time and period, but again, change takes time to take root. And though those changes are in place, it's taking a bit of time to take root. But we think at the end of the day, we will beat this scourge.
Monday's murders come just a week into the government implementing its latest phase of the crime-fighting strategy. Clear Hold Build is a multi-agency strategy that police use to tackle organized crime groups in communities. The program has been rolled out in the Angliston constituency with plans to take it elsewhere in the coming weeks. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfram.
Well, Fox Hill residents are also still trying to make sense of the brutal and callous killing of 3 men yesterday, sharing what they think should be done in the tragedy's aftermath. Some of them spoke with our Daniel Dean.
Feelings of anger and exhaustion amongst Fox Hill residents as they recall Monday's triple homicide involving home police confirm are innocent victims at a makeshift car shop. One resident claims at least one of the victims was simply getting his car fixed.
I'm very sorry to see something like that happen, but the people were on bail. I think they need to find a place for them to be. Send them on an out island where nobody is at. And I believe that the Bahamas would be more safer than what it is now.
All you need to do is enforce the law of the land.
At the end of the day, that same person was sitting on with them set of people could have been right here with us. And we end up getting pop up for no reason.
J. Carl Ramming, pastor emeritus at St. Paul's Baptist Church, Fox Hill, considered a beacon of light for the community, adds the times have certainly changed.
I grew up in this area just about 2 minutes away from here. I recall Dawson Street, that's where I born and grew up over 80 years ago. And of course, during my time, nothing like this.
One resident raised the issue of police surveillance, claiming he senses less criminal activity when they patrol. Officer in charge of Fox Hill Urban Renewal, Assistant Superintendent Jermaine Adderley, confirms that police were indeed making their rounds.
Not only the units was doing patrol, our own Commissioner of Police, along with the executive teams, was actually in proximity and so forth when it occurred. And that's the reason we had a rapid response to the scene.
Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander adamantly stated at Monday's crime scene that 178 men are being electronically monitored on bail, assuring police will continue to investigate whether the incident was gang-related. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
With the country's murder count teetering over 100, National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, contends one killing is too much. Here's what he told reporters today when questioned about the rise in homicides.
One is too much. There's no acceptable number of murders. And it's as simple as that. It's a record of the number of times a Bahamian generally has been unkind and inhuman to another Bahamian. Every murder is that. A Bahamian born and bred here, generally. From birth to about 18 to 25, deciding that he is going to take a life. And we gave birth to that person as a country. We presided over their upbringing to that point.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force recently inaugurated the Bahamas Unmanned Systems Academy at HMBS Coral Harbor. This academy will elevate the nation's expertise in unmanned technologies and strengthen its security framework. The academy will provide specialized training for personnel in operating advanced aerial and underwater drones that will be essential for law enforcement, search and rescue operations, and environmental monitoring. Commodore Raymond King emphasized the program's critical role in bolstering national security and combating crime, declaring that the academy not only enhances the Defense Force's capabilities, but also positions the Bahamas as a leader in unmanned systems in the region. Over in Grand Bahama, the plot thickens in the saga of Murphy Knowles and the Carey family. Grand Bahama Police confirmed that Murphy Knowles has been in police custody since this afternoon for questioning. Just 6 days ago, our ZNS Northern Service team breaking the story of Ingrid Carey, which alleges that the power of attorney and the elderly woman was signed over to her caretaker, Murphy Knowles. This led to an outraged community protesting in front of the elderly care facility. Shalia Roll of our Northern Service is following this story.
I'm standing in front of Central Police Station, where right behind me, Murphy Knowles, the proprietor of Home Away from Home, is being questioned in relation to fraud complaints.
You have to fix this. It has to be fixed.
Our ZNS News team speaking with Assistant Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles on the latest development. She says Knowles was picked up and brought into custody around 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
I have Ms. Knowles, Murphy Knowles, in custody in connection with a fraud investigation. As you are aware, the country became aware of a complaint that had been made to our department, and the incidents that occurred here on Grand Bahama last week.
Now to recap, last week Philippa Carey, the daughter of Ingrid Carey, told ZNS Northern Service Murphy Knowles had the power of attorney over her mother, which also included Carey's home, NIB, and pension. Fast forward, following days of protests and public outcry, this led to Sharon Thompson, the sister of Ingrid Carey, stepping up to show that she has the power of attorney over her sister since 2011, which concluded with the release of Ingrid Carey from the assisted living facility. In an interview last night, the family representative said that since the release of Carey, more questions than answers arise about the facility.
There's been a lot of brainwashing. So just take that and you let that land where you need to let it land.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Shanton Knowles says that the arrest of Murphy Knowles is in connection to only one complaint, adding that there were no other complaints filed against the home away from home.
We've had no other complaints as it relates or in connection with this home as it relates to fraud complaints.
ACP Shanton Knowles says that matters like this take time before charges can be made.
We are hoping that we would get to a position where we can have a successful conclusion, but we know that these kind of matters, fraud matters, do take a lot of time to investigate and to gather evidence before we can talk about preferring charges on someone and putting them before the courts.
Now, once again, while Knowles may be in custody for questioning in regards to fraud charges, no formal complaints have been filed. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Rule.
In news from the courts, the court trial of Member of Parliament for North Abaco, Kirk Cornish, resumed in the Supreme Court today. Cornish is facing charges of rape, assault. Justice Renee McKay ruled that the threats of death charge will also proceed. The defense called Apostle Cedric Bullard to the stand, who confirmed that he and the parliamentarian grew up together in Cooperstown, Abaco. Apostle Bullard testified that he has never seen Cornish get in a fight and described the MP as one of the most quiet people in the entire community. The apostle also told the court that he was shocked to hear of the alleged rape case, especially because he has been encouraging Cornish and the women in question, who is his niece, to get married. He said that as an MP, Cornish, whose father is also a pastor, regularly visits his church and supports the community on almost every special occasion. With that, Justice McKay informed the 9-member jury that they will hear closing arguments from the prosecution and the defense on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Global Construction Review Online is reporting that CCA Construction, along with CSCEC Bahamas and CCA Bahamas, today appealed the New York State Supreme Court judge's ruling earlier this month that it owed the resort's original developer, Sarkis Ismailian, $1.6 billion in damages as a result of contract breaches and fraud. In a statement, the defendant's spokesperson indicated that the lower court's decision is by no means the last word in this matter and says the action taken to begin the appeal process is in the first step towards correcting a ruling that they claim misapplies basic principles of New York law, misconstrues core facts, and completely overlooks the consistently tireless construction work done by CCA Bahamas that ultimately completed the mega resort on Cable Beach. Still to come, historic artifacts released. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in just a moment.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
By JBI. Thank you for providing quality products for the Bahamian table for over 30 years. I really love all your products, but my favorite is the kidney bean with coconut milk. I use this with my peas and rice. I use it in my vegetable soup. I use this in my pea soup and dumpling. I love it. It has a wonderful flavor. So, On your 30th anniversary, I just want to wish you all the best and make millions.
I absolutely love the products that you guys have. My favorite has to be the coconut water because it tastes just like coconut water at home.
Proud JBI. Happy 30th anniversary, JBI.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I hope you have another 30 years.
Thank you, Bahamas.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Ancient artifacts of the indigenous Arawak Lucayans were on display in the Senate today for students, visitors, and officials to view. A small ceremony marked the occasion, featuring official remarks and a live demonstration and performance from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Marching Band, and Rangers. Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, welcoming the return of the remains to its rightful place here in the Bahamas, while celebrating the Lucayans, whom he says were victims of colonial interference.
They'd been here for hundreds of years, thriving, celebrating, and burying their loved ones with reverence in the caves of these islands. Yet, they were also the first to suffer the devastation brought by colonial encounters. While DNA studies show no biological link between them and the present-day Bahamians, their spirit and influence echo through our culture, guiding us in ways that transcend more than lineage.
The artifacts arrived in the capital yesterday. Among them were different parts of the human skeletal remains that are said to have been preserved for hundreds of years. Scores of people lined Bay Street, hoping to snag a look at the bones and also celebrating a milestone for the country.
This return was made possible through the 1990 Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, a law that mandates in the United States institutions to return remains and sacred artifacts to their communities whenever and wherever possible. Thanks to the collaboration between Michigan State University's Arts and Collections Department and our own Antiquities, Monuments, and Museums Corporation, we mark a historic first for the Bahamas, the return of ancestral remains from an international institution.
The Bahamas has mounted its campaign to secure a seat on the United Nations Security Council. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Honorable Frederick Mitchell, is leading a Bahamian delegation in New Zealand this week to generate support. He met with former New Zealand diplomat and parliamentarian Sir Jim McClay and former Commonwealth Secretary General Sir Don McKinnon to discuss the move and how the Bahamas can benefit. The Bahamas is pursuing a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for the 2032 to 2033 term. Guided by the theme Peace Building, Sustaining Peace and Climate Security Resilience, Relationships and Representation, the Bahamas will offer the Council its distinct perspective and proven track record of actively engaging with critical global and regional concerns. During a heartfelt appreciation ceremony at the Government House this week, public service retirees gathered with family, friends, and officials to celebrate their years of hard work and dedication. For many of them, the day marked the end of a long, fulfilling career that helped shape their communities and the country. Labor and Public Service Minister, the Honorable Pia Glover praised the honorees for their service.
It's not us. It is you, the public servants, who come and go with each administration. And you are the seasoned professionals whose careers span multiple administrations, and it is you who gets the job done. And you've all contributed to the success of our nation in your own ways. And as such, today we are here to applaud you.
Retirees whose years of service range from 25 to 47 years received medals as symbols of appreciation. Deputy Chairman of the National Public Service Week Planning Committee, Lavelle Watson, shared the importance for retiree recognition.
Retirees have worked their entire lives. We have persons who would have put in 47 years of service, and to those in the military who would have put in 25 years of service. So just stopping and recognizing these persons for their effort truly goes a long way. We are so grateful because it's their service that we as public officers can stand on.
And send-off for a pageant queen at Lynden Pindling International Airport this morning. The 32-year-old's pit to palace journey has captured the hearts of Bahamians who anticipate her performance on the big stage. Daniel Dean has the story.
We're here at Lynden Pindling International Airport, where friends and family rallied together to send Miss Bahamas Universe Salvinique Wright off to the international competition in Mexico.
I'm going to just showcase exactly what it is that the Bahamas has to offer within myself and just make sure that I represent this country to the best.
The beauty queen's May 12th crowning came after 4 attempts at the title. She admits the journey has been far from easy, but she kept going nonetheless and encourages Bahamian girls and women to do the same.
Keep at it. Don't, there's a saying that says, when you fall off of the bike, you get back on. I would tell that little girl, get back on. It's not always going to be easy. It's going to be, again, a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, tears. That's what I had to put into this. But if you remain steadfast, you're going to achieve your goals.
Youth, Sports and Culture Minister, the Honorable Mario Boleg, acknowledged the importance of beauty pageants to his ministry and the country in general, and maintains officials will be putting their best foot forward to better support all beauty queens moving forward.
I'm happy to be here to support Ms. Wright as she moved towards to represent the Bahamas on the world stage. I believe in her, and I've been getting a lot of calls and believe that she will do well and she will make us all proud.
For anyone wanting to watch Miss Bahamas Universe take the stage, pageant director Anthony Smith tells us how.
The 16th. So it'll be seen on Telemundo and Roku TV along with some other broadcast network, and we'll be publishing it in local media, print, and also the social media forums.
Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Stay with us. Sports is up next.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. Your late night edition. Let's get you rolling. 6th Caribbean Baseball Cup is now in the books. And as we saw, it was none other than Curacao coming away with the championship overall. Their second time winning this event in 6 tries. So I tell you what, that looks pretty good for them. They're building. Meanwhile, the Bahamas also building as well, failing to get to the championship round or even a medal contention, going 1-4 in tournament play. Now, according to the Secretary General of the Bahamas Baseball Association, that's going to change as they're looking forward to building for the future.
We will be there with our government to making sure that we have the Andre Rogers National Baseball Stadium certified for the next event so that we can have the players that you know who play professional baseball, they're released and can play and represent this country at the highest level of baseball so that we can put the proper representation out there for each event.
And they're considered to be one of the best female teams ever assembled, winning bronze at the World Games in Santa Clara back in 1981. That squad will be honored during Sports Month as we hear more from Charles Fisher.
43 years later, no other female team in any sport has achieved what these ladies did. Daisy Walker, Linda Ford, Naomi Ellis, Debbie Forbes, Candice DeGregory, Denise Rackley, Oriel Wood, Cipriana McKinney, Cynthia, Mother Pratt Moxie, Audrey Sayers, Kay Moxie, John Poitier, Nancy Russell, Sherlyn Bain, Ernestine the Big Horse Butler, Cheryl Turnquest, and Carolyn Ferguson. The team was managed by Bobby Baylor Fernanda. The coaches, Godfrey Gully Pinder, Charlie Mortimer, and Alfred Ali Culmer.
Congratulations to everybody who's still around. For those who have passed on, we still send our condolences, and they were part of the team as well. But we're very grateful that the minister and the ministry has taken the initiative to take us to this level, because it's always good to know that we still can see our comrades after so many years. And it's just a good feeling to know that we still can be alive and enjoy life. We've been the best. Trust me, we've been the best. 1981 was the best year in softball internationally that I think we played. And we had some master ball players. Everybody has played their best. We had some super games. I mean, it was such a... I just can't explain it. It was just a great feeling. Just a great feeling to know that everybody's still here and feel appreciative of what we have done back in 1981.
The big picture, horse, Ernestine, glad to still be alive to celebrate their feat.
Well, I feel very, very proud to know that they have finally recognized us after all these years from 1981. We have come third in the world, and it was not an easy win. It was rough, it was hard, but I thank God to know that some of us are still here, and for those that passed on, we're still going to recognize them.
Oreo Wood Knowles, too, thanking those for recognizing them.
Long time coming, but we thank God that it's come. And we have about 4 or 5 ladies on this team that are now International Softball Hall of Famers. And we thank God for that as well.
Congrats to the ladies who will always be a part of Bahamian history. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
And that's it. You check on sports for you here on this Tuesday. Of course, we do have weather just ahead. Stay with us.
Got termites and need to get rid of them fast? Trust Renil Initial. With over 60 years experience in the Bahamas, the global brand, training, and expertise can't be beat. Only Renil Initial gives you a 3-year warranty and payment plan options on termite fumigation. No one can match the range of treatments we offer, such as fumigation, pre-construction treatments, termite monitoring, and more. No matter where you are in the Bahamas, we will come to you. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Renil Initial.
It's time now for a weather check with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Basil?
Good evening, Royce. High pressure continues to build across the Bahamas, and that means increasing winds, and they will be gusting up to gale force at times, particularly in the central and southeastern parts of our country. With 32 days remaining in the tropical cyclone season, we're not completely out of the woods. The reason being, the Hurricane Center continues to give this area here in the Caribbean Sea a 40% chance of developing over the next couple of days, so we could perhaps see a tropical depression, possibly even a tropical storm forming out of this system. And most importantly, the computer models are pushing this system towards the north, meaning it's heading towards the Bahamas, and it could affect us within the next 7 days or so. So we'll keep you posted of its development. And temperatures around the islands this evening, 80 degrees in Marshall, Ivanhoe, a little cooler in Green Toll Key at 78 degrees. Freeport, Grand Bahama also reporting 78 degrees. In the Berry Islands, 81 Allenstown, Bimini at 83 degrees. Harper Island, 78, 80 degrees. And Roxanne, Eleuthera, Fresh Creek Central, Andros, 82 degrees. And that extends into Kemp Space on Android and also in Black Point, Exuma, Otterstown, Cat Island, 81. San Salvador at 80 degrees, 81 in Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, 82 degrees there, 82s in Ragged Island, Clownstown, Long Island, Crooked Island, and Betsy Bay, Maguana, Acklands at 83, Matchitown, Unigo also 83, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 82 degrees. And our satellite pictures are showing quite a bit of cloudiness over parts of the northwest Bahamas, and that's associated with a low to mid-level trough, which is providing the cloud and 1 or 2 light showers. Also, just to the south of the Bahamas, we have another area of confluence, which is also producing some showers there as well. Forecast tonight, this is how things are looking. Windy and mild with some skies clearing later on as that troughing pushed more towards the south. 75 degrees for your low temperature. And then tomorrow we're going to have variable cloudiness and still very windy. with some morning showers and afternoon thunderstorms in parts of the area, so everybody's not going to get it at the same time, and you may not even get it at all. 85 degrees will be a high temperature tomorrow, and you extend the weather forecast unfolding like this. We'll have those pockets of showers into Thursday. Beautiful weather on Friday with lots of sunshine in the forecast, but we'll have 1 or 2 brief passing showers, particularly in the afternoon on Saturday. Sunday looking pretty nice. Monday even better, but come Tuesday, we're going to have those overcast skies again with scattered showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast. Bryson.
Thank you very much, Basil. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight at 11. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Thank you for watching, and good night.
At the Office of the Prime Minister, I'm Devontae Hanna. This is ZNS.
With its exciting schedule of events and breathtaking attractions, it's no wonder that a new season's worth of cruise ship visitors are looking forward to 7 months of blissful travel to the Caribbean. As the newest edition of one of the globe's premier food festivals kicks off, there's still ample time to appreciate one of this region's signature landmarks. Top quality restaurants, tasty cuisine, and high-rated hotels are also part of this exciting package as we at Caribbean Passport prepare for another thrilling journey.
A whole year could not have gone by quickly enough for those looking forward to the latest edition of the Barbados Food and Rum Festival. Well, the first servings are being dished out, and the opening beats are being unleashed from the turntables. It's time to eat, drink, and party. The Barbados Food and Rum Festival 2024 is finally here as the latest edition of the Caribbean's premier culinary event comes off on the weekend of October 24th to the 27th. It's an occasion with something for everyone, thanks to its schedule of exciting cuisine and party-themed events. Not surprisingly, it has been referred to as the ultimate foodie dream weekend. Different launch events were staged, including once again in the Trinidad and Tobago market at the Humidor 868 in Woodbrook. Demonstrations given by the acclaimed and talented pairing of Barbadian chef Trevor Stout and mixologist Shane McLean represented an extra special sneak preview of what's in store for attendees from throughout the world who will be flooding into the culinary capital of the Caribbean this month.
We are the sommeliers of the cocktail world. So same way you prepare white wine or red wine with your meals, we prepare cocktails with your food. So once the chef prepares a meal, we actually decide, okay, if it's a lighter meat, we go with white rum. If it's a more red meat, we go with dark rum, which for the tannins. So we start right there, and then we decide what flavors he's using and try to complement it. So instead the chef used mango, I'm going to use rosemary. If you use cinnamon, I'm going to use guava, so we keep bouncing the flavors. So when you actually consume the food and sip the cocktails, there's a margin of flavors in your mouth.
We want to be as inclusive as possible. This is based on all budgets, all types of persons, all personalities alike. And we want to showcase essentially the amazing talent that Barbados holds. I'm really inviting the entire Caribbean. This is, again, an inclusive event. This is something that we all can come and bask in. You know, we want to take care of you. We want to pamper you in Barbados with our rum, first and foremost, our culture, our food, and our people. So come down, dip your foot in the sand, go in the water. You know, you can even do a nice catamaran or a cruise, but come and spend some time with us and enjoy the Barbados Food and Rum Festival 2024.
A total of 29 Barbadian chefs and mixologists will be joined by international guests in the form of Wandele Mabaso, Rene Blackman and Michael O'Hare at the upcoming Barbados Food and Rum Festival, which will be celebrating its 13th anniversary with a full menu of exciting experiences in store for all. Traveling through the Caribbean has been a thrill for cruise ship passengers for decades, and one of the latest hotspots on the schedule is Trinidad and Tobago. With tours to notable attractions among the activities, visitors are again set to experience all the joys that this twin isle southern paradise has to offer.
Trinidad and Tobago's package of breathtaking sights and exciting activities has made it a one-of-a-kind destination. And as another cruise ship season for 2024 to 25 dawns, more visitors will be facing up to the exciting possibilities of a trip to TNT. This country's presence on the Southern Caribbean circuit has continued to increase with each passing year, and close to 200,000 cruise passengers arrived during the course of the 2023 to 24 season. They helped the local economy to earn over 48 million TT dollars in revenue. These visitors were brought in by ships representing some very reputable lines, and they left with a lot of extremely positive impressions.
I love the island. I think that it's beautiful coming in by ship, seeing part of your country. It was really nice. The welcome with the music and the dancers is very lovely too.
It's a lovely place. Love going down, walking down to the cathedral. It was fun to just kind of walk around and see the people enjoying themselves and just the eclectic nature of everything. It was pretty neat. Just the amount of help, and I felt really safe walking down, and loved the amount of tourists or visitor center people that were along there to help us along the way.
More thrills await between October and next April for this season's arrivals, including tours to a variety of natural and man-made attractions, exploring Port of Spain itself, and shopping, amongst a list of authentic experiences.
Trinidad and Tobago has what we call languages. So I have been doing this for years, over 25 years, so it has to do with not what is back home, because what is back home is what they're getting away from. So they're coming for things like our, what you call sun, sea, and sun. One of the things too, the greenery of our forests and what you call the bird life, wildlife. Also to our twang and the way we speak. They love the way we speak. So it's a kind of intriguing thing to them to know that they're spending money to learn something differently. So if you come here as a visitor, the first thing you want to see is something different. So trying to mimic them by saying, hello, welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. You're just making yourself maybe part of them, and they don't want to be part of them, they want to be part of you. So you have to be yourself first and foremost.
We have bags, jewelry, ceramics, leather, wood, you name it. Anything that our artisans do, we have fine art pieces as well. Well, it's a wonderful opportunity that we decided to take part in. We've been here for a few years now. It's a way to expose our handmade craft, because that's what we do, authentically local craft. We don't buy and sell, we make everything from scratch. So it's a way to expose the visitors to Trinidad and Tobago craft items, all local or handmade.
Everything on my table is 100% local. I focus on a lot of crystals, like the tiger eye, the protective stone, the green aventurine, prosperity, rose quartz, all these crystals. I love working with crystals. Also the natural wooden beads. I love natural. 95% of the passenger, I will say 98%, they love when they come to our country, they get something made in Trinidad. Because sometimes you go to all the Caribbean islands and you get the same thing. But they like to know they have a piece of, they're going back with a piece of Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago's profile as a popular cruise ship port of call continues to rise, and it's all part of the development of yet another side of this incredible destination.
over 300 years of tradition. A journey from swaying cane fields to ancient stills. The rums produced by Demerara Distillers Limited have a history that began in blazing fire, a cleansing, cane stripped bare, the Caribbean's liquid gold revealed within. It is in this age-old process defined by our ancestors that this legendary spirit is born again. El Dorado, crafted richer, aged deeper. St. Lucia is known for its beauty, its long history, plus great personalities such as the Nobel Prize-winning pair of economists Sir Arthur Lewis and poet-playwright Sir Derek Walcott, along with former West Indies and Windward Islands cricket all-rounder Darren Sammy. But there are also the fantastic natural attractions, the most iconic of which are those majestic twin peaks, the Pitons, which are a distinctive sight by land and air. Located in southwestern St. Lucia, between the towns of Soufrière and Choiseul, the Pitons stand like guardians on either side of Julussi Bay. These peaks are linked by the Piton-Mitard Ridge, with the sulfur springs also featuring in the region, and are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Gros Piton, on the southern end of the bay, is the higher of the two at 798.25 meters, while Petit Piton is 743 meters in height. The site is dominated by a tropical forest that includes 148 plant species on Gros Piton and 97 on Petit Piton, plus a wide array of wildlife. Close to 60% of the site's marine area is covered by a coral reef, with a wide range of sea life also thriving beneath the waves. A magnificent view from afar, with thrilling adventure experiences available within their zone of existence. The Pitons of St. Lucia are truly one of the great natural wonders of the Caribbean.
Major corporations may occupy prominent social positions, it's actually the small and mid-level businesses that are most important to a local economy, especially from the standpoint of services and employment. This is why these companies must be allowed to grow and thrive with the right resources and financing. In June 2023, Republic Bank launched its campaign in support of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, including startups, women-led companies, business with a focus on sustainability, and part-time entrepreneurs. A total of $20 million was allocated to the program, which features loans up to $100,000 per client, with reduced qualifying criteria, plus competitive down payments and rates. After an additional $30 million was allocated to the campaign within the first month, due to its popularity, $50 million more was made available to MSMEs last March, by which time 600 local businesses had benefited from $43 million in disbursements, and the program was converted from a 6-month campaign to an ongoing offer. Representatives of 60 of these companies were present at Republic Bank's recent MSME Empowerment Forum, which was hosted at its corporate headquarters in downtown Port of Spain. The event was aimed at fostering business development, raising awareness of the bank's products and services tailored for MSMEs, and encouraging collaboration amongst participating entrepreneurs. The forum was comprised of educational presentations and an interactive networking session that was designed to foster new business partnerships.
What truly sets this product apart from anything else being offered on the market is its unique features, specifically designed to overcome the hurdles that have hindered MSME from accessing financing in the past. Features that include the removal of the need for upfront collateral. Wasn't that well received, MSMEs? Yes. Our special reduced interest rates, the potential to submit alternatives to financial statements. Even startup entities could have availed of this package. Applicants could have been registered or unregistered businesses. And applicants didn't even need to have an account at Republic Bank. We welcomed everyone to avail of this package. To date, approximately 1,300 MSMEs have benefited from this innovative lending product.
Republic Bank's MSME microloan falls in line with its commitment to its principles for responsible banking and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly number 8, decent work and economic growth, 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure, and 17, partnership for the common good.
Hungry again already? Okay, let's take a break in Antigua and Barbuda, where several outstanding restaurants thrive, including one beachside establishment that's famous for rustling up a wide array of local and global favorites within its kitchen.
Antigua and Barbuda is just made for a great time. White and yes, pink sand beaches, thrilling events all year round, and hot spots to hang out and enjoy yourself at every turn. And when you walk into Dennis Beach Bar and Restaurant on Fry's Beach, you can look forward to nothing but island vibes, cold drinks, and tasty servings of Antiguan and international meals.
The restaurant name is Dennis's Cocktail Bar Restaurant. And as you know, I'm Dennis, the owner. It's also located on Fry's Beach. It's actually one of Antigua's best beaches. And we have another beach we call Small Fries, so it's between Small Fries and Big Fries. So we started this in 2006. It's one of the best places for picnics, parties, weddings. I do weddings as well here. We do conferences as well. So there's a lot of things you could do here. Well, we open from 10 until 6. Friday nights, we go until about 9:30, 10. We have like a bonfire night on a Friday night. We started at 5 o'clock. It's really great. You have to make a reservation, because if you don't make a reservation, you don't get it. The menu for the barbecue, we do like roast pig. We also do lobster steak. We do kebabs, like fish kebabs, chicken kebabs. We also do conchs, curry conchs as well. But in the restaurant, we do like curry goat. We also do steak. We do snapper. We do fish and chips. It's a wide menu where any and everybody can enjoy. So if you're visiting Antigua, it's a place you can come and really enjoy. It's Dennis's Restaurant and Bar. I also have some cottages named Diamond Pine Cottage. The cottages are 2-bedroom with 2 bathrooms there, and then we have some 2 luxury suites. It's 7 cottages in all, and they're all located on the compound overlooking one of the most beautiful beaches. What I like to say, come to Antigua. Antigua is nice, and come to Dennis. It's one of the best places to come at the island.
Staying on in Antigua and Barbuda for a bit, it's very much a beacon for thrill-seeking visitors. It offers a variety of accommodation for all comers. If you happen to have a little eco-adventure within you, well, here's one South Coast property that's just on the horizon.
Located in Antigua, South Coast Horizons is a nature-filled getaway you're sure to enjoy thanks to Candia Lewis and her team.
So we've been in existence since 2005. It's a local family-operated business. We offer kayaking through the Mangrove Lagoon. and we snorkel at Cades Reef, which is Antigua's most vibrant reef barrier. Our tours are carefully planned to protect and preserve the environment. We also offer a lot of educational tours, so our tour guides would take them through the mangrove lagoon on the boardwalk, which is 300 feet. On the boardwalk, they would have conversations about the different types of mangroves. We have 4 types. We have the red, the black, the white, and the buttonwood. We always ask you when you're visiting here, kayaking through the mangrove, just, paddle through very slowly to take in everything that the mangrove has to offer. Once you kayak through the mangrove lagoon, you can join the snorkel boat at Cades Bay, and it's a 5 to 7 boat ride to get to Cades Reef. As I mentioned, Cades Reef is the largest reef barrier in Antigua. You get to see everything out there, the different type of fish. You see stingrays, you see turtles. Guests absolutely enjoy the snorkeling experience at Cades Reef. It's awesome. We offer the fun part, as I mentioned, but we take into consideration how important the mangroves are. So green tourism is actually on the forefront of everyone's mind now. So when they hear at South Coast Horizons, they ask a lot of questions, and they're part of what we're doing. Even though they don't live here, it interests them because with climate change on the rise, we have to be very mindful of how we're taking care of our ecosystems. So during our tour, or during our safety briefing rather, we let the guests know the importance of the mangrove and the coral reef. So the mangroves, basically, it protects the shoreline from storms. It's a home for the fish and the birds, and we must be mindful that cutting down a mangrove can be destructive. So our tours are not just, the fun aspect of kayaking, but we bring awareness to the importance of the mangrove lagoon. We do offer self-catering rooms. We have 2 types. They're ocean view and garden view. We do cater for a lot of retirees in our rooms because they like the peace and quietness. And everyone is welcome, but you find that because of where we're located and the surroundings, it caters to their needs.
So, dear traveler, whether you're looking for a relaxing retreat or an exciting adventure, South Coast Horizons delivers the best of both worlds.
Okay, time for some cuisine, some tasty seafood. It's a major part of the Caribbean scene. And when one adds some of this region's key ingredients to the mix, a very special taste experience is the only outcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Richardson Skinner. I am the executive chef of Coco Palm Tea Banana Restaurant. You are watching Caribbean Passport TV. Today I'm going to do a very special dish for you guys. It's a sizzling coconut curry shrimp with a sweet chili mango relish. Here is the ingredients that we're going to need. I have my spices on this side. This is a little bit of red chili pepper. This is all-purpose seasoning, curry, a roasted ground cumin, salt and pepper. I'm going to use some grilled rye plantain as the side. And for your fresh seasoning, I have ginger, seasoning peppers, garlic, some bell peppers, red and yellow, a piece of lime. I also have red onions, mango, and here I have some fresh herbs. It's parsley, some celery, and we have some chives here, and I also have some shadow benny in here as well. So we're gonna bring our skillet up to medium temperature. And we're gonna add a little bit of oil. So while that is going, I would just take my shrimp and I will add it to the skillet. And what you want to do is you want to caramelize the shrimp on both sides, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to seal the shrimp, and at the same time that caramelized sort of texture you get on the outside gives you the sweetness of the shrimp. It brings out the sweetness. It's still very bouncy, and you know, it's maybe medium on the inside. And what you want to do is you just want to take that off the fire and place it aside. I'm just going to put this back onto the fire. I'm going to put a little bit of oil again. And here I'm going to caramelize a little bit of red onion. This is a very important part. I'm going to put a little bit of curry. And we just want to get, again, the curry to release all of the wonderful flavors from all of the spices that makes up the curry. Gonna add a little bit of that roasted jeera as well. And now I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic. You don't wanna put in your garlic too early because you don't want it to burn. A little bit of seasoned peppers and a little bit of ginger, not much. Now this is a little bit of vegetable stock that I have here that I'm adding just to give it extra flavor. Here we have coconut milk added to your vegetable stock and your curry and roasted jeera. And you just let it simmer for a little bit. Here's where you add a little bit of salt and pepper. Not too much, just a little bit, a little pinch. I'm also going to put a little bit of my red chili flakes. Not too much, that's optional. If you don't really like spice, you could avoid that. You just want the sauce to kind of reduce and simmer very slowly, maybe in a minute time. You just put your shrimp in. This is the shrimp that you had caramelized. It is still kind of raw on the inside. You want to add it to the sauce. You allow it to go for about another minute again. So you see what's happening here. All right, your sauce is beginning to thicken up a little bit. The juices from the shrimp is now beginning to release into the sauce, which is going to give it an amazing flavor, and you're not going to overcook your shrimp. This is the mango relish. All you have to do is get some half-ripe mangoes. What you're gonna do to it now is you're gonna season it. This is just the mango. You add a little bit of, you could use lemon. I'm using lime. A little bit of lime juice. Nothing much. Then you want to come with a little bit of garlic, nothing much. A little bit of fresh ginger, nothing much. And here you're going to add a little bit of your seasoning peppers and a little bit of red onions, chopped red onions. You always season everything that you cook, so you use a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, red chili flakes. And what you want to do is just give this a light toast. So as we are getting ready to plate our shrimp dish, I have made a little grilled ripe plantain. And, you know, some people like it fried, some people like it steamed. I just grilled it. I sliced it really thin, and I grilled it on a flat grill. You could do it in a frying pan if you want to as well. And I just rolled it like a rosette. And this is basically what it is. This is my sizzling dish here. And now I'm going to place my shrimp onto the dish. To garnish, I'm just gonna use 3 of these dishes, and then so here it is, guys, our sizzling curry coconut shrimp. I hope you enjoy. Please try it, and I guarantee you're going to like it.
Thank you to Richardson and all our dear friends at Coco Palm in St. Lucia. You know, the Caribbean is a treasure chest when it comes to exciting events and activities. As you've seen for yourselves, the pace has not let up, and there's always that long range of thrilling experiences on tap. Once again, we at Caribbean Passport have been dedicated to delivering the best of this region to you. Until next time, take care, everyone. See you soon.
At Rusty Bethel Drive, I'm Paiswell Forbes. This is ZNS.
This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. On behalf of the management and staff of the ZNS Network, we wish you a very pleasant good night.
Watching, lurking now. From the creation of Bahamian civilization, this is ZNS Network.
The views expressed on this show, interview, or program are not necessarily the views expressed by the ZNS Radio Network and, by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
It's informative, thought-provoking, and entertaining. Immediate response on the ZNS Network, examining the issues you care about. So pull up a chair, call your neighbors, loved ones, family, and friends. Set your dials. Immediate response starts now with your host, Spence Littleson.
Good morning, Bahamas. Good morning, world. Welcome to Immediate Response. This is Diana's last child, all the way from the Valley with you, the Bishop of Motivation. We have an awesome show lined up for you today. Already here with me is Dr. Kurt Christie, who's going to be with me for the entire time, and he's agreed to do the prayer for the nation. Thank you, and welcome, Dr. Christie.
Yes, good morning. Let us all bow our heads. Most gracious and loving Father, we thank you, Lord, for yet another day that you have created. We thank you, Lord, for life and liberty and the ability to comprehend and analyze. We thank you, O God, for your many blessings that you have bestowed upon each and every Bahamian individually and on their families collectively. We pray for the nation this morning. We ask, O God, that you will intervene in all of the social chaos, in all of the violence, all of the suicidal behavior that we are seeing in our society. We ask, oh God, for your grace and your divine intervention this morning. We ask, oh God, that you will give us all the intestinal fortitude to do what is right and not to do the altered right, which is wrong. We ask, oh God, that you will continue to bless this nation. As we come into the end of the hurricane season, we ask, oh God, for your divine intervention in the nation. We ask, oh God, that if any storm is brewing, that it will go far right and or far left of the Bahamas. We thank you, O God, that you will do it. We stand with you. We stand on your might because you are the Almighty God. You are Elohim, the creator of the universe. We ask these blessings in none other name but the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Dr. Christie. Immediate Response is proudly sponsored by J.S. Johnson, Island Windshield, Harvest Insurance, Screws and Fasteners World, Bahamas Retina and Eye Care Service in Sandy Port, where Dr. Dawn Russell Hermans is the ophthalmologist, and the Phoenix Institute for Positive Development and Empowerment. And we sponsor this segment here on my motivational energizer, Dr. Christie. And this morning I'm talking about embracing change.
Yes.
Embracing change. Change, it's a word that can evoke feelings of fear, uncertainty, and discomfort. But what if I told you that change is also the key to growth, progress, and personal transformation? Think about the most significant moments of growth and development in your life. Chances are they all involve some element of change, whether it's starting a new job, moving to a new city, or taking on a new challenge. Change, whether it's starting or moving, change is what pushes us out of our comfort zones, and forces us to adopt, to learn, and to evolve. But embracing change isn't always easy. It requires courage, resilience, and a willingness to step into the unknown. It means letting go of the familiar and comfortable to make room for something new and potentially better. However, the rewards of embracing change are immeasurable. When we open ourselves up to new experiences and opportunities, we expand our horizons and discover new possibilities. We learn more about ourselves, our strengths, and our potential. We become more adaptable, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws our way. So how can we learn to embrace change in our lives? It starts with shifting our mindset. Instead of viewing change as a threat or a burden, try to see it as an opportunity for growth and adventure. Surround yourself with people who support and encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone. And most importantly, trust in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. Keep in mind that change is a natural and inevitable part of life. By learning to embrace it, we open up ourselves to a lifetime of endless possibilities and personal growth. So don't be afraid to take that leap of faith and step into the unknown. Who knows what incredible things await you on the other side? And that's why I tell you, always step out in faith, Yeah, that's my energizer for the morning. Now, welcome back, Dr. Christie. And Dr. Christie is no stranger to immediate response. And as I sit here and I see you, Dr. Christie, my mind goes back to 30 years ago, about 30 years ago, when I first started as a motivational speaker. I created a tour of the schools in the Bahamas. And it's ironic because Minister Kevin Harris was on with me just the other day.
Okay.
And he had a group called System 3.
Okay.
And they would do the music part, and I'd come on and do the motivation then in Nassau. And then I took it to the Family Island, and I took it to Andros.
Okay.
To Huntley Christie.
Okay.
Yes, and man, he entertained me, and we had a good time. Apparently, it went so well that I got back to Nassau, and he called me again to say when I'm coming back. But it was only a one-time thing. So it's good to see you, sir.
Yes.
And we're dealing with suicide and suicide prevention.
Yes.
We're going through a lot in the country right now.
Yes.
And whenever we mention suicide, people's mind go to a lot of different things. But I'm going to, as I said, embracing change. Let's start with it. What is meant by the term suicide, Dr. Christie?
Yes, this is a very important topic, and certainly it is one that should be explored further. And we have some time this morning to expound upon suicide and suicidal behavior.
Yes, sir.
But suicide is an act with a fatal outcome that is deliberately initiated and performed by the person in the knowledge or expectation of its fatal outcome. So when a person is suicidal and wants to complete suicide, they are highly committed to doing it.
Wow.
And they have a definite suicidal plan.
Yes.
And they have suicidal intent. And it is different from a person who would express what is called non-suicidal self-injurious behavior. And so we'll talk a little later as the show progresses.
Right.
But the completed suicide does not tell all of the story. There are many people who attempt suicide but are unsuccessful.
They fail.
Yes. So I know there's a preoccupation with the number of suicides in a given year.
Yes.
But there are a lot of
yes.
people whose efforts to complete suicide are stopped, where families intervene, persons are caught in time, and they refer to appropriate treatment specialists for care and management of their suicidal behavior.
Well, Dr. Christie, would these people make other attempts if they failed at one time?
Yes, it's very important to understand that a past history of attempted suicide is a risk factor for prospective attempts at suicide and even completed suicide. So we cannot be dismissive of a person who is desirous of committing suicide.
Yes.
They are telling their family that they wish no longer to be alive.
And you have to take that serious.
We have to take it seriously.
Some people dismiss it and say, oh, they're just talking again off their head.
Yes.
But it's something you have to take serious.
Yeah, and so I just want to say that if anyone is expressing suicidal behavior where they are saying they don't want to be around any longer, they may be feeling helpless and hopeless, I think it's an opportunity for a family member or a friend to sit down with that individual and say, I believe you. Three important words.
Right, I believe you.
Sit
Okay.
down and really listen to that individual.
Yes.
Empathic listening, listening without passing any judgment, which we would, psychiatrists, psychologists would call it,
Yes.
empathic listening.
Okay, Dr. Christie, this show, thank God, it's very popular. And it's to God be the glory. So we have people watching on television, listening by way of radio, and watching us by our Facebook Live page. And I want to say morning to all those who are watching by television, listening by way of radio, and the ones who are watching by Facebook Live. I can see who they are. Yes. And I just want to shout them out this morning. They're already tuned in to hear what you have to say. Shirley Roll says good morning, and another great show. Stephanie Doughton says good morning, Mr. Spencer, you and your guests. Another great show. Good show as always. Thank you, Stephanie. Erica Bryan Jackson is watching us from Portland, Jamaica, not Kingston. Okay. She is in Portland. She don't miss the show. Laura Kemp says good morning. Virginia Moss is tuned in, saying good morning. Rhodesha Brown. Good morning, Rhodesha. Lucille Grant and my friend Rhonda Ward is watching from Lauderhill in Florida, South Florida. Nelson Lord is tuned in. Annadelle Cummings Wiley is watching from Toronto. Virginia Moss is tuned in. Paulette Forbes. Good morning, Paulette. Paulette Forbes, the wife of the great Pepsi Forbes. Max Mercier, good morning. Lucille Grant. Terry Pinder is watching us from North Eleuthera. And my brother Jared Colbrook, a faithful viewer, is tuned in right here over at J.S. Johnson Insurance, one of our sponsors. So, Dr. Christie, whenever we mention suicide in this country, people are saying the rates are up high.
Yes.
What are the local rates of suicide to this day? Because we get numbers mixed up from time to time. What's the local rates?
Yes, we have had experience completed suicide. Last year, there were 6 completed suicide, courtesy of the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
6.
And there were 80 cases of attempted suicide. The previous year, in 2022, there were 8 completed suicides, and there were 43 suicidal attempts. And in the year 2020, there were 11 completed suicides, and in 2019, there were 8 completed suicide. And I just wanted to say...
How much was it?
8 in 2019.
Okay.
8 completed
so
suicides.
did you say, because I'm getting some texts and some questions.
Yes.
Did you say, this year, how many is it so far?
I don't have the statistics
have
for
that
this
yet.
year.
Okay.
But last year it was 6 completed suicides.
Last year.
And 80 suicide attempts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ida Mae Brownwell is tuned in. Karen March, good morning. Thank you. Adele Branch is watching from Grand Turk. So we have people all over tuned in. Okay. I have a text here I just want to read.
And may I say that
Go right ahead,
the per capita rate is about 3 per 100,000 of completed suicide in the country.
Yes.
The worldwide rate is 11 completed suicides per 100,000, and that's the worldwide. So we're still under the worldwide.
Yes.
The prevalence of completed suicide.
Okay. Good morning, Rita Bow. She's tuned in. Thank you. She said, I'm always looking sharp. Yes. Thanks to Fine Threads. I want to look like Dr. Christie. Fine Threads. Thank you, Adam. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Another one here. I know this is coming up.
Okay.
The 8-year-old. The 8-year-old. The person is asking, what could, and this is an old person word, compel a young person to commit suicide at age 8, Dr. Christie?
Okay.
As a matter of fact, when I heard that, I was just baffled.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes, it's a very important question. And when we look at the child and adolescent population and young adult population, and we have to remember that 20-year-olds, their brains are still developing, and sometimes they are functioning emotionally and psychologically as adolescents. We have to be mindful of risk factors concerning as it relates to this population. And some of the common risk factors include abuse, children who are being abused.
Yes.
Whether they
Children who
are
are being abused?
Abused by parents or friends or other children, whether it's physical abuse.
But 8 years old, Dr. Christie?
It's a possibility, and so we have to explore the past history.
Yes.
We have to do an inquiry in the school environment. So even though, and I don't want to speak specifically to that case because it's still under investigation.
Right, yes.
There is something known as a psychological autopsy that professionals can do where they interview the survivors of the victim to really recreate the events preceding the completed suicide. And a psychological autopsy would tell psychiatrists and psychologists, give them some clues into what occurred immediately before the completed suicide or event.
Okay, thank you. Let me open up the phone lines, Dr. Christie.
Yes.
The numbers to call today to be a part of our show is 325-5403, 325-5404 or 5. And our family islanders, we love to hear from you. 1242-300-8255 to be a part of our discussion. Now, Dr. Christie, what are some of the local methods of committing suicide?
Yes, the pioneering psychiatrist, world-renowned psychiatrist Dr. David Allen was instrumental in he established a task force that reported in 2013 to the Honorable Perry Gomez. And there were certain findings that Dr. David Allen and his team found as a result of that analysis of the suicides that occurred between the years of 2008 and 2012.
Okay, yes.
And the common mode of completion of suicide was hanging. Hanging in the Bahamas, followed by falls, was the second highest mode of completion, and the third was ingestion, was the common mode of...
hanging is number one.
Is number one in terms of the mode or the mechanism of completing suicide. And there was a male predominance of the order 5-1. So a Bahamian male is 5 times more likely than his female Bahamian counterpart to commit suicide. And this is the finding of that committee. And it is in keeping with the evidence, with the body of research.
Yes.
More men complete suicide because of the mechanism
that they use.
The action,
yes. Women tend to use pills.
More women attempt suicide.
Yes.
But the evidence shows that more men complete because they may use a firearm, they may use a mechanism of hanging themselves, which will cause the cessation of their life.
Now, Dr. Christie, suicide is the leading cause of death in the United States and a major public health concern. when a person dies by suicide, the effects are felt by family, friends, and communities.
Yes.
Particularly the family left behind, because they're left with a lot of questions. Why?
Yes.
And they want to know, why didn't I see that? I mean, that person was going through something, I didn't see that. I see them every day, you know?
Yes.
So
So it's very important for us to look at the risk factors and some of the possibilities. I mentioned for the child and adolescent population, we also have to observe children, whether or not they're being bullied in school, and this is a risk factor of them engaging in suicidal behavior. And certainly if children are experiencing depression, depressive symptoms and anxiety symptoms.
Yeah, but you know, when I went to school, but back in the day, okay, as I say, back in the day, I went to Eastern Junior, which is now Palmdale Primary, before I went on to SAC.
Yes.
But back then, you know, in the Valley and in Culmusville and those areas, if anybody attempted to bully you, you could always run for your big brothers, eh?
Yes, yes.
Or a big cousin in the area. I don't know, and I'm not making light of it. I'm just remembering how, you know, a fellow would say, boy, I go with my big brother. Or a guy would say, I'm going home to my boys in Camp Road and be coming back. And that stopped any bullying right then. That's how it was back in the day. I didn't know it could lead to suicide.
Yes. We have to understand that with the introduction of social media, that children now can be cyberbullied.
Yes, okay.
Sometimes they are bullied, and it can be covert by other children in the school,
right?
Or even older young adults as well can bully adolescents and other children in the school.
Right.
So social media has really impacted in terms of the cyberbullying. Also, persons may also being teased a lot, or there's a lot of misinformation and gossip, negative gossip being spread about the child and adolescent.
Yes.
And we know during this age that many adolescents lack self-esteem and lack self-confidence. And so their mindset, they may be negative impacted psychologically because of this teasing and gossip and a lot of lies being spread on that adolescent. So it's very important for...
Particularly with social media now.
Yes, it's very important for parents to sit down with their children, have heart-to-heart talks during the week, ask them what's going on in the school environment, get to know the friends of their children and or adolescents and teenagers.
Okay. All right, thanks. So what are the socio-demographics of persons completing suicide in the Bahamas?
Yes. We know that more males are completing suicide. We know that the age group is between the 25 to 45 years of age is the age of these completed suicide.
Yes.
There are some outlier cases where younger individuals have completed suicide, and certainly most recently of the alleged completed suicide of the 8-year-old male.
Okay.
But we know that a lot of children engage in what is called non-suicidal behavior disorder. And so this is where they may engage in cutting or burning themselves, hitting themselves, and which may cause bleeding and bruising. But the intent is not to complete suicide. And we know that some children who engage in cutting, burning themselves, hitting themselves, may be going through a lot of emotional distress
or
emotional dysregulation, and they are crying out for help.
Yes, attention.
For attention seeking.
Yes, sir.
And by engaging in these activities, they relieve stress, and they're able to relieve this emotional distress symptoms that they're experiencing in the school, whether it's from bullying, whether it's from the lack of low self-confidence, low self-esteem. And but this can be a risk factor for completed suicide. And so it's very important for parents not to be dismissive of the non-suicidal self-injurious behavior disorder. And so if your child is cutting or they're hitting themselves, intentionally inflicting wounds to their arms and forearms, do not be dismissive of these symptoms. Speak with your child and refer them to your primary medical care physician for further evaluation and screening. Children also may be experiencing depression symptoms such as sadness, the loss of motivation, lack of enjoyment from one's normally enjoyed activities. So we know childhood depression is also a risk factor of children completing and adolescents completing suicide, as well as bipolar disorder.
We need to talk a little bit more about that, Dr. Christie.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a couple of comments and questions already.
Okay.
From our Facebook. And Denzel Roll, my good friend. Denzel Roll, OM now, Order of Merit. Congratulations, Denzel. Denzel says, morning and blessings. Doctor, how do you deal with an individual you know is suicidal but refuse to get professional help?
Yes.
Thanks, Denny. Good question.
Yes.
Downtown Baratari.
Yes, excellent question. And this is where that it may be difficult to get that person to come in. But I think if you can plant the seed where you speak to the person, you show a listening ear, and you say, be as supportive as you can, and let the individual know that you will go with them, or you will travel with them to New Providence if they live on the Family Island and they may be experiencing suicidal thoughts.
Yes.
And also have a definite suicidal plan. This person needs to be dealt with urgently. On the Family Islands, we have our Family Island physicians or district medical officers who can be the first contact for those individuals.
So there's help on the Family Islands?
Yes, there is help on the Family Islands. And the good way is through telehealth and telephone conferencing. Psychiatrists are now in contact with the Family Island physicians.
Okay. I want to say a special good morning to Pastor Carol Moss. She's tuned in. Good morning. Carol is a dynamic pastor. I've seen her in action. And now I have a comment here from my text. It says, good morning, Mr. Finlayson. How are you on this good day? Says, watching your show. My son, I took him for help. He had a mental problem. And she said, see how they did me all over social media, trying to save him and his brother from killing each other. He climbed the roof to jump. I understand what the mother went through. This is just a woman just reaching out. And it's and so let's speak about the persons with mental problems who may be inclined to try to take their lives.
Yes.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Yes, having an underlying mental disorder puts persons at risk of completing suicide. And it's very important for persons to follow up with the psychiatric team. We have many patients who are being admitted to Sandilands for various reasons, such as major depression, psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, and marijuana-induced psychosis who've been stabilized.
And you need to speak about that for me for a minute, because a lot of people believe marijuana is harmless. That's the general thought, Dr. Christie, among young people. They believe it's harmless.
Yes. This is a misconception. From the body of evidence, we know that with chronic regular use of marijuana, it can lead to paranoia syndromes and also cause psychosis in adolescents and young adults' lives. And I would be remiss if I don't tell the nation that your brain is still developing up until about 25 years of age for the young adults.
Yes, sir.
And so if you are using drugs quite regularly, you can change the normal brain chemistry, so much so that the abnormal pathways in your brain will develop. And if you were to consider that mental disorders such as schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, and psychosis is like a fire raging in your brain. So if you're using marijuana, you will cause a kindling effect and cause an ignition of fire, a fire in your brain. And once the fire ignites, then you will develop the signs and symptoms of these major psychiatric disorders. So marijuana, yes, is very dangerous.
Yes, sir.
Can cause psychosis and other paranoia syndromes and unlock the door of schizophrenia in persons who are using marijuana quite regularly.
So, Dr. Christie, I know of a case where someone was bipolar, and I know a number, well, not a number, but persons who are bipolar for whatever reason, they're not compliant. They don't like to take their medicine, And one individual resorted to just drinking, because drinking lots of alcohol sort of balanced them out. But at the same time, there are persons who've committed suicide under that influence. So it's sort of a double-edged sword,
Yes, we know very well that with respect to bipolar disorder, bi meaning two, and pole referring to two poles of the mood. And so persons swing from high to low, and yes, bipolar disorder patients can function normally in society once they are complying with their oral medications. They're following up with the assigned psychiatric team, and they are also doing the things in terms of work-life balance, self-care, and also attending to appropriate diet and exercise and nutrition, holistic health.
Yes.
But we know that there's some persons in the states of mania. Mania means the high.
Yes,
where
the high.
they have flight of ideas, racing thoughts, elevation of their mood. They engage where young men and women may be smoking. And the issue with smoking marijuana, you cannot get the dose right. If you're smoking 3 to 4 joints of marijuana, you will put yourself in an overdose state. So I'm not talking about the production of marijuana for medical purposes. I'm talking about the recreational use, which is dangerous.
Yeah.
And so, as I'm aware, the Marijuana Medical Act is not promoting recreational use of marijuana at this time. But we still have to be careful that if it is opened up for recreational use, there must be appropriate public awareness to let persons know that if they're using marijuana recreationally,
Yes.
there's an increased chance of the onset of psychosis in persons who are using marijuana daily for recreational use.
Thank you, Dr. Christie. Carolyn Dorset is tuned in from Pembroke Pines. Good morning, Carolyn. Thank you. It's time for our break now, but let me just read this. Anna Mae Strawn, my good friend, said, "Good morning. This is such a powerful show. So many very young people are smoking. We need to begin advertising the harmful effects this drug can be."
Yes.
Thank you, Anna Mae. I appreciate you. I don't know, she's probably in Washington, D.C. now. She travels all over the world. But we're going to go to a quick break, but don't touch your dial. We're coming back with Dr. Christie. We're talking about suicide and suicide prevention. We'll be right back.
For an afternoon filled with inspiration, great music, and fun? Well, tune in to The Link with yours truly, Kashik and Jamal, every weekday from 2 to 5 p.m. on Inspiration 107.9 FM. Dive into the Word with our walk through God's Word. Celebrate your friends and family with the afternoon shoutouts and enjoy back-to-back hits from our double play artists of the day. Plus, we blow the dust off and take it back with our old school song of the day. We shine the spotlight on a rising talent in our nation with our Artist of the Week Spotlight. It's your go-to show for faith, fun, and fellowship. Right here on the Inspiration Station. It's The Link with Kashik and Jamal. I'll see you Monday through Friday.
H. Bodie Jr. I am back.
I'm back.
The final word.
I'm back.
I am back.
I'm back.
The Final Word with Ortland H. Bodie Jr. Weekdays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the ZNS Network.
The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas remembers Darrell Miller.
I am Dwight Pugh of the radio department. Darrell was a consummate, lively, and provocative professional journalist. I remember Darrell for the many moments that he would give the entire country in his podcast. I remember Darrell for his many lively hurricane broadcasts. He would always put a smile on your face, and even though it was a serious moment, his broadcast would always be unforgettable. My most memorable moment with Darrell would be his election calling of the no votes. And so with that, we remember Darrell as a stalwart here in the Broadcasting Corporation in terms of broadcasting and his professionalism. And I like to say to his family, the Miller family and friends as well, condolences to you. And may the Lord give you strength to pick yourself up and carry on. Rest in peace, Darrell Miller.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force is committed to fighting and eliminating crime in the Bahamas, and technology is making that happen.
With short-spotted technology, we are reducing response times in our communities. Drones, CCTV, body cams, and dash cams to what's happening. Marco's alert protects the country's most vulnerable, and it's all integrated through the Real-Time Crime Center. That means all of these new initiatives are working together to get us the best results in crime detection and prevention. When ShotSpotter detects gunfire, the CCTV pans to the scene. Body cams and dash cameras record the action in the field from the officer's perspective. Drones provide an aerial view, and the Real-Time Crime Center dispatches units, records, and processes the data. This is backed up with our state-of-the-art UPS and the on-site heavy-duty generator. Visit the Royal Bahamas Police Force website to find out more about the technological revolution.
Hi, I'm Police Corporal 3375 Santino Coakley of the National Crime Prevention Office, Royal Bahamas Police Force. Did you know that Christmas trees, holiday candles, and seasonal decor can be hazardous if they are not put up properly? You can keep your holidays bright and memorable by making fire safety a priority. If you have an artificial wood certified or identified by the manufacturer as a fire retardant. If it's a real tree, cut 1 to 2 inches from the base of the trunk, placing the tree in the sand. Make sure the tree is at least 3 feet away from any heat source. Replace any string of lights with worn or broken cords or loose bulb connections. Never use lit candles to decorate the tree. Always turn off Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to bed. Ensure lights are suitable for outside use. Fasten the bulb securely or put the sockets down to avoid moisture buildup. Never use indoor extension leads outside. Extinguish all candles when leaving the room or going to sleep. Keep candles away from items that catch fire. Don't place lit candles in windows with blinds and curtains over them. And finally, invest in smoke detectors. On behalf of our Commissioner of Police and members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, we would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. This message has been brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, working in partnership to create safer communities.
The views expressed on this show, interview, or program are not necessarily the views expressed by the ZNS Radio Network and, by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Welcome back to Immediate Response. Diana's last child with you all the way from the Valley, the Bishop of Motivation, and Dr. Christie, there's peace in the Valley. I just thought I'd say that. This is the time now for shout-outs and birthday greetings, sponsored by Bahamas Retina and Eye Care Service in Sandyport, where Dr. Dawn Russell Hermes is the ophthalmologist, and they're opening a second location in Freeport, Grand Bahama soon. But a shout-out this morning, we start off with Kenny Carroll, formerly of the Broadcasting Corporation. He's over at the Department of Housing. Morning, Kenny. My good friend Frederick Kemp from Step Street in Fox Hill. Dr. Bernadette Bannister, good morning. My good cousin Charlene Neely. My good cousin Freeman DeVoe. Good cousin Peter DeVoe Isaacs. Good cousin James DeVoe over in